Hey guys, welcome back to the Ignite Mic. I'm here with a new high performance coach, friend of mine from The Den, which is Daytona Executive Network. Really excited actually to get to know him a little bit better. This is our first one-on-one, as The Den likes to call it. I think I'm learning the lingo still, so you'll have to. I want to introduce you to Billy Reuter. Billy, welcome to the show.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Dude, this is going to be a great conversation.
I can't wait.
So you are the most positive person in the room at the Den. I really love being around. You encourage everybody. What kind of got you to where you're at? Tell people. People don't know. Tell me, because I don't know really. I've heard your story very little.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that very much. And I guess the best thing to say to start would be the martial arts. I was really, really honored. My parents threw me in when I was about 4 years old, and literally, although I'm 44 now, I can remember 40 years ago walking into my first martial arts dojo, and there was just something inside of me that just changed. Before I learned how to throw a single punch or kick, I was just like, this feels right. And I just loved helping people. I loved working with people, and I fell in love with the process. And, from 4 years old all the way on, I trained like an absolute ninja. I learned as much as I possibly could. And, teaching always felt right. And I always knew it would be part of me in my career, in my life, to teach others and help others. And it really started with martial arts and just helping people come in those doors that are, most people, when they first come into a martial arts dojo, there's apprehension, they're scared, there's uncertainty. So learning how to ease their soul a little bit and give them a step-by-step process, how to build that confidence, one class at a time. I just became obsessed.
So wait, are you still in the martial arts scene?
I am not. No. I mean, behind the scenes, right? I coach a lot of martial art instructors, and my twin boys are martial artists, and I go to every one of their classes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So you started in what kind of martial arts? Because there's a lot of facets of martial arts. So
yes,
where
sir.
did you start your game, and how young were you?
Yeah, I appreciate it. So I was 4 years old, and I started on Long Island, New York, where I'm originally from.
Right.
It's called Taizen Jiu-Jitsu, and it was just a beautiful, hardcore, traditional style. And, I say this with such grace, my parents moved around quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I moved a ton of times, and the one foundation, the one anchor, no matter what town we moved in, was martial arts. And I really appreciate my parents for making sure that was a priority. So the challenge to that was always starting a new style, right? As you said, there's many styles, new styles, then starting over. Get to orange belt, then starting over a white belt. Go to blue belt, starting over.
Wow.
But I never really saw it as a negative. I was always like, I just get to learn more. This is awesome. New school, new instructors, new people. So by the time I was 18, I experienced about maybe 12 different styles of martial arts.
Wow.
And certainly not master of all of them, but I was exposed to so many, and I really just love the similarities. And yeah, I never looked back. And a lot of who I am today comes from the martial arts and the principles and philosophies that I still teach.
Well, that's discipline.
Yes, sir.
And discipline is hard to do, and it isn't hard to teach unless you have gone through its discipline. To be disciplined by discipline,
Yes,
that is a tongue-tied kind of saying, but it really is the way it is. You said you're not necessarily a master of all of them,
right.
But did you ever hear the saying, jack of all trades,
Of course,
master of none?
That's right.
Do you know the next part of that?
I do. I don't know it verbatim, but yes.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I'm saying it verbatim even, but it says a jack of all trades is not necessarily a master of none, but is better than a master of one.
Fully agree with that statement.
It is amazing, because I'm like that jack of all trades guy. I like to do it all. We got to dabble in things, and there was so much in me that thought, I should have just stuck with one thing.
Right.
And why didn't I just do this one thing? And I was like 30 something years old by the time I heard the full statement.
Right.
So we need more people to understand a jack of all trades is not a master of one, but is better than a master of one.
90%.
And when we have that mentality, like where we can learn it all, we could do it all, we can help. And I think that's that's where your philosophy and really who I have met in the den shines, is because you're like, I may not know everything about your field,
Right.
but I have something I can contribute.
Yes, sir.
And I like that.
I appreciate that.
So what now, this tied into martial arts, you had to get a job, I'm sure. So have you always been a high performance coach, or where did you kind of transition from martial arts now into high performance coaching?
Yeah, this is a great story, and I really appreciate the question. It's what I share with my clients. I'm kind of smirking for this reason. It kind of fell in my lap, right? And it fell in my lap accidentally. I had a great opportunity I was about 19, 20 years old, and I had just left one of my martial arts schools where I first met my wife, now of 25 years. And a buddy of mine was running a school about 45 minutes away from where I lived. He says, I could really use your help. And I'm like, awesome. I would love to help you. I really, really appreciated him. So I would make the drive out there. Now, what wound up being even more of an opportunity than I can even say into words is this school happened to be in the wealthiest area of all Long Island. So all of the clients, all of the students that were coming to this martial arts school, multimillionaires. And I'm talking, they're the CEOs of the CEOs, right? And it was such a beautiful paradigm shift for myself, because for me, growing up with very limited means, I'll just share that respectfully, right? It was a very different experience for me, very different. But more importantly than focusing on the differences, I recognize the similarities. I'm like, although you're worth $100 million, you're a man, you're a woman. You have the same struggles and challenges. And I share that with you because although they kept coming to me for martial arts instruction, I've always become a student. I was always a student of personal development. Always. I loved learning how people thought. I always loved learning why certain people were successful and other people's weren't. I knew it had nothing to do with their upbringing, their race, their gender, nothing, right? Because there's so much evidence to disprove that limiting belief. And I became obsessed. And I was always reading the books and always watching the stuff, right? And a lot of these high-level CEOs that were learning martial arts from me, at the end of every class, I'd always do what's called a mat chat. I would sit all my guys down and I would just speak philosophy. I would just talk about life, and they would come to me. I'm a 21-year-old kid, right? 20-year-olds. And they'd be like, hey, that thing you taught last Tuesday, I brought it to my board of directors. Man, did it work. And I'm like, I'm 21, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're coming in here with a Ferrari, Rolls Royce, and like, here I am. And it was such a beautiful awareness of people just want to do better.
Right.
And it was just so powerful. And then, as my business grew and my reputation grew in Long Island, I opened up fitness facilities, and I just became on a mission to help everyone. And I realized that martial arts was amazing, but maybe I could do more. And fitness was the vehicle. And then I was running fitness and martial arts. And I was the guy that had so many businesses, but I had no time for anything. I don't advise that by any stretch of the imagination. But what was really beautiful for me at that point was it allowed me to understand how I can really serve at the highest level.
Yeah.
Far beyond punches, kicks, or body fat reduction. And that's what I do now. And I've never looked back.
That's awesome. Now you're talking New York.
Yes,
we're
sir.
in Daytona Beach, Florida. So we're a long way from New York. Now, I would say most New Yorkers want to get out of New York and come to Florida. That seems to be the
Yes.
I feel
factual.
like that's the end goal of every New Yorker. I want to move to Florida.
Yeah, buddy.
So how did you end up here?
It's a little contrarian. Are you ready?
I'll go for it.
All right. We're cool with that? I found out, although I'm very healthy, I am allergic to tyranny. So I am a COVID relocator. So even when COVID happened in New York, I was already running a digital remote business. So personally, I was not financially affected. But I had so many friends in the fitness space, the martial arts space, like I just shared, and they were losing everything. Mandatory closings, stuff of that nature. I also am very focused on health autonomy.
Right.
So we opted not to vaccinate our children. And my children, my twin boys were part of the school system, which I was always not against, but I'm like, there's just got to be a better way. But I was running 5 businesses, all the staff, and I'm like, there's no way I can do it, or my beautiful queen. But then the governor at that point removed all religious exemption, gave everybody 6 weeks You either
Wow.
catch up on all these vaccines or you're out. So I share that with you because obviously I was not going to comply.
Right.
So I was like, then we're out. No problem. Right. So I made some adaptations and I'm like, we will be the best homeschoolers ever. This is before COVID.
Right.
So we were looked upon as the crazies.
Right.
Like, what do you mean you're going to homeschool your kid? And all the different, ideas came and everybody had an opinion. But we never adjusted. Like, we just felt it in our heart, in our spirit. This is the right thing. It's going to be different, but I'm not going back. So I share that with you because, it felt very good and my kids did great, like amazing. And then, so when COVID happened, everyone was homeschooling out of necessity. So we would get the phone calls, help me. I don't know how to do all this. And I made I'm saying this very humbly and very respectfully. I was like, well, I don't do school at home. I have my own curriculum. There's some things that I think that are going to really help my children become the best versions of themselves.
Right.
And there's a lot of what they're teaching that's going to get in their way more than serve them. So I just cut out the fat, give them only what they need, and they're thriving to a level that I can't even put into words.
That's amazing to hear. Your testimony is so powerful there because we run in a lot of circles.
Sure.
The homeschool exit is a big one right now. There's a huge shift because of the money, especially in Florida, that gets given for homeschooling to better your kids and takes the money out of the public school, which is good and bad. My wife and I have not homeschooled our kids. We don't feel very much able or ready to do that. Plus, when my daughter went out of COVID and got into the digital whatever curriculum, she did terrible.
Yeah.
And it was not for her. My kids need people and they need community. And so there are like homeschool co-ops and stuff like that if I was going to go that direction, I would definitely venture into. We're not. Our kids are amazing. They have great, moral ethics. They can stand up against the peer pressure. You know what I'm saying? We have conversations. We have open dialogue. We get to teach our kids. I yell at my kids probably too much. But I think they'll appreciate some of that, even though maybe it's not always in the best way. And I can admit that. And they would know that I apologize when I, yell at them out of turn. But I think we have a generation right now that it's either fix it or destroy it. And right now, because people are pulling their kids out of school, it is challenging the government to fix it.
Oh, yeah.
And if they don't fix it, guess what? Something else is going to rise up and it's going to be better.
100%.
And so, like, we have friends, and this is bad. I don't want to say to discourage somebody who is in this situation. But I'm not in a place to let my kids be the guinea pig. And there are new schools being they're, created every day, and they may turn out to be the best school in the area.
That's right.
I might not be comfortable to do that right now.
That's right.
You can't hate on me for doing that. At the same time, I don't hate on you for trying. Because I want you to succeed. And the same thing with the public school. I have my kids in public school. I don't want the public school to fail.
Of course not.
So how do we find a balance? And so to hear your testimony about COVID, and like I was in TV at the time and they forced us to get vaccinated.
I bet.
And I didn't want to do it. And I mean, I'm not going to tell you all the story, but basically they forced me into it and I had to pray. And I got a word from God. I really believe this was God said that you could eat poison and not die. That was the word, confirming word to me, meaning this was poison.
Oh yeah.
I knew it was not good for me, but God was going to protect me.
Beautiful.
Because I had to do it for the livelihood of my family. And so that's the only reason I did it. And I would have never done that if it wasn't for that, because I commend you. Your vigor to do that is like, we need more people like you, because if we don't stand up to tyranny,
right,
who is gonna?
It'll win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're in a very volatile society right now. So you homeschool your kids, you come here, you're now plugged in. I've gotten to become a little bit engaged with this new network, the Den.
Right.
Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, of course. We'd love to. So the Den for me was so beautiful, and allow me to share why. Again, coming from Long Island, New York, I was a part of a lot of different business groups, a lot of different, Chamber of Commerce, do whatever we can to build a business, right? And when I moved down to here, I was kind of, I won't say in the back burner, wasn't really looking to put my roots in yet. It was still a lot of uncertainty for us. Like, we came from Long Island to Port Orange. Is that where we're going to stay? Right. So we love it. We're in the same condo when we moved down, and I do not want to move. My wife and I have a disagreement about that. Right. She wants a house. I'm like, I love the condo lifestyle. Right. But she'll win. Right. For documentation, she'll win. But I share that with you because I had the opportunity to connect with some people in the community. I've always done that. My heart is here to serve. And I was like, let me get together with someone that has the same vision.
Yeah.
So one meeting led to another, and I put on what's called Elevate Your Life, which is a 3-day beautiful summit of just teaching the entrepreneurs, teaching the people of Daytona and Port Orange how to live a better life. Everything that I live for, I'm like, let me just teach it for free. We raise money, donate it to charity. And I share that because it gave me the opportunity to meet a very beautiful, special woman, and her name is Jen, and she's a big part of the Den. And we just connected. We just hit it off right away. She was a member of that Elevate Your Life summit that I did. And I just knew there was something special about her. And we became friends. And through social media, I kept watching her post about this thing called the Den. And allow me to give some better context. I was very committed to not be a part of the traditional business networking groups.
Mm-hmm.
No disrespect to anybody. I really love depth more than surface. I didn't want to be a part of, hey, what's your name? Here's my business card. Give me some clients. Cool, if that's your thing. I'm like, it's just not for me, right? I really cherish this. I cherish people, conversation. Like, I want to get to know people and really know, behind the business, if you will, about the person, the story. I love that. And I messaged her. I was like, you keep mentioning this thing called the Den, tagging on Facebook. I'm like, I'd love to come down. It seems really cool. Because I respected her so much, I was like, well, if she's part of it, I know it's not going to be like all the others. And same, the history kind of unfolded. I went there, fell in love with it. It was just different. Great group of people. It's about 1.5 years I'm involved now. And about 5 or 6 months ago, the then VP, a great guy, took me out for coffee. And he was like, listen, I have to step down as VP. He's like, my business is really, really growing. And I'm like, oh, awesome, right? What a great thing. He's like, but I really want you to replace me. He's like, you're the way you lead and the way you speak and your attention to detail. I really think you'd be a great VP. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. I was like, can I help people? Yeah, then sign me up. They took it to a vote, and the vote went in my favor, which was really nice. And I've been VP now for about, 4 months. And I can't get enough of it. It's just what makes the Den different, in my perspective, is like I just shared, it really talks about the people.
Yeah.
We are client centric, which means our focus is in any of our businesses that we build such a powerful relationship with others that we can trust our clients with. Like, I know if I have a client that's local and they need media content, I feel so good. I'm like, you got to talk to Jesse. I know they'll be taken care of. I know the professionalism. I know the beautiful wife behind the scenes that no one sees right now, right? Like, the experience is next level. And that's what we're looking for, right? Whether you're a house cleaner, a lawyer, carpenter, handyman, and, even myself as a high performance coach, anybody that will send me a student, a client, if they're in business, they know I am going to treat them with a red carpet service, 5 stars all the way. So when you build that kind of trust, it's not just a referral because it's transactional. It's really powerful. It's like, I'm excited to help people grow their business. I'm excited to meet people. And as you've been there, a few times, we celebrate all life's victories as well. It's not just, hey, I made more sales. It's like, I took my wife out. It's our anniversary. We're all like crying and hat clapping. It's like, yeah, because there's no, the myth I try to dispel as best I can on stage or with interviews. We are operating with the thought that we have a professional life and a personal life. And my friends, we don't. We have a life.
Mm-hmm.
We get to control how much our professional goals shadows our personal ambitions, and vice versa. If our personal life, if you will, is shadowing and hindering our professional goals. So there's a way of integrating everything so everything thrives without sacrifice and abandoning or settling for average for my high performance folks.
Yeah. I hear the heart you have here, but people who haven't experienced it, first they don't even know what the acronym. It's an acronym, the
Right.
DEN.
Yes.
So can you explain what DEN means?
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Yeah.
probably should lead with that.
Yeah.
Yes. So DEN, because we started in Daytona. So
Yeah.
it's Daytona Executive Network. Yeah. Nice and easy. 3 letters.
And then you become the DEN. And it's funny when you first hear the DEN because you're like, what on earth is this? And so it was funny how you explained this whole time and everybody's like, what?
Yeah.
I kind of get what it is now, but what does the DEN mean? And the DEN, to me, and I've only been there twice so far, is a partnership in building each other up.
Absolutely.
I haven't got enough, and this is why we're having our first, I guess, one-on-one, because there's some terminology that's used in the bylaws, and they just voted in some new bylaws that I haven't even gotten to see actually, because the link didn't have the new ones.
Okay.
So I'm excited because they're trying to get you to engage, but also to track and help your progress.
Yes.
It is more about you and your success personally,
right,
as a partnered person within this group in a community than it is about, and they use the word metrics.
That's right.
The word metrics can, from my understanding, is many different things, but referrals and metrics of getting clients to each other and, passing your name along is important. But what I've gathered with the 30-second to 1 minute introductions is the celebration of who you are in the group. And there are some diverse people.
Yes, sir.
I mean, so who's invited to the Den? Just curiosity, like any business?
Yeah. So the Den, we are a special group dedicated for driven professionals or business owners. And if you are ambitious and you want to expand your network, you want to grow your profession, grow in your career, we're definitely the place for you. But, forewarning, we don't accept everybody. And I'm not just saying that because we're on camera, right?
No, that's why I wanted people to know.
Yeah, and this is legit, right? It's because we understand, and I think I brought a little bit of this, running martial arts schools and fitness facilities for so many years, call it membership based, right? One person can really ruin an entire experience. So it's, who we vet is very simple. If you're ambitious and you are client centric, like I know that sounds cliche because we say it a lot, but it's really true.
Yeah.
If you are committed to delivering a 5-star experience for your clients and you're really you're that type of person, you're not just a handyman, you're the handyman. You're the person that will go above and beyond, over deliver. And we do some charity work. And we, the reason why I share this is we're all community focused. We want our community to do better. And one of the many ways, is building really good businesses that people can know, love, and trust, owned by operators with a big heart that are looking to serve and looking to help each other, right? And that's what I love, that when people can get together without a, reciprocity. Right? Like, all right, I'll help you, Jesse, but only if I'm expecting 4 referrals and 3. It's like, ugh, it gets me nauseous, right? Like the Go-Giver is one of my favorite books, right? Like give to give because it feels good. Give because it feels right. And I appreciate your statements, as much as I get compliments, like, oh, you're giving so much to the Den. I love when you talk. And I always receive it. I put my hand on my heart. I receive it. I'm so grateful for it. I'm like, but don't let me fool you. I receive just as much as I give.
Yeah.
Like I really, really do. I'm not talking financially or clients. That's not what I'm talking about. It is the conversations. It's the connections. It's the relationships. To me, you can't put a price on that. So
as we're discovering our connections and really, I'm new to the Den. I'm not accepted, if you wanted to put it that, whether or not I will be or not. But the Den has it almost feels more community-based and supportive and that's its mission. I feel like that's its mission more than our business success.
That's right.
when I come, and I've only been there twice.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool, like Zen to Den to Zen afterwards.
Yep.
They wanted to go out and eat, and I would love to do that. I think that my goal is kind of that heart. Like I care less about my personal growth, honestly, of like financial.
Right.
If I'm making an impact, and I think that's why I created this place. So whether or not you knew this, my accountant was the one who actually introduced me to the Den.
No way.
Yeah, he's like, man, you gotta go. And for 3 months, it was on my calendar.
Wow.
And I was like, I really get. And being a person who's an entrepreneur, and this is literally a black box.
Right.
And nobody in this, for 2 months built this place almost by myself.
Wild.
Can you imagine I was like in solitude. Yeah. Now, granted, some of that was good. I had a, spiritual growth in that moment, but there is at some point a need to connect with people and people who are like-minded, driven, who are encouraging you. Cause I was in a time when I finally came, whether or not you knew this, but I was pretty down.
Yeah.
And it was uplifting. That. Yeah, it was a good time.
If I can speak to that for just a second, one of the phrases I like to share with everybody in the Den, and really even my students, right? It's just because you're in business for yourself doesn't mean you're in business by yourself, right? Because again, I'm a solopreneur, right? I own my business operates all over the country. It's only me. I used to have business partners in different ventures, no longer. Not good or bad. Just right now, I don't have partners. And why I share that with you is it can get lonely, right? And I cherish the floor my queen walks on. She is a gift from the heavens for me. I can't say enough about her, but she's not in my business. So, and again, she serves me in many other ways, right? She's an absolute rock star mom, incredible wife. But when I felt all alone, I can't talk to my gorgeous queen about marketing strategies, SEO, customer acquisition, right? Or even client challenges like, and she's been with me forever. So through the martial arts, through the self-defense, through my seminar trainings, like I've tried a lot of different businesses, right? And I share that because my story wasn't alone. Everything you just shared. And it's how many times I felt defeated, how many times it was a late night at home and I'm like, I got nothing. I feel like I'm on an uphill battle. And this is why, something like the Den is something really important in any community, right? Any community. Just find a brotherhood, find a sisterhood, people that are like-minded, because I promise you, no matter what struggle you're going through, you're not the only one. It feels that way. It feels like we're on this abandoned island of entrepreneurship and we're just scrolling through YouTube videos, praying that I'm going to get the one answer, right? And so I share that. It's like, man, the answer is always with the conversation.
That's why we have great podcasts like this one for people to get some encouragement and to learn about people. One of the reasons I wanted to do a show like I designed here with the Ignite mic is to get to know people like you. People would never maybe have come across your name if it wasn't for some silly video. They're going to catch a view. They're going to watch this whole show and they're going to be like, who is this Billy guy? And what is the Den? I got to find out. And I hope that happens. That is a personal goal of mine. And it's not to become famous. It's not to become rich. Although I would love both of those things. I mean, I don't know if the famous part would be a blessing or a curse, but, I'm one of those people that says we need better content out there. And if nobody's going to do it, I'm going to have to be the one that does it because I can't just be the guy who complains.
Absolutely. So
we're creating good content for people to engage. We're challenging the moral battle, the political battle, all those things. Yes, so tell me about your business. I know we talked a lot about the Den.
Sure.
Billy, you're a high performance coach. What do you do that takes people to the next level? Because to me, that just says I'm here to be the next guy to make you your best you.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that very, very much. Going back to the martial arts for just 1 second, what I found, which was always frustrating for me, was everyone thought their way was right. Every martial artist that I ever studied, and they were all beautiful, every master thought that his style was the best. He was the best. And here's why. Because it came from Okinawa, it came from China, it came from Japan, it came from Brazil. And a lot of it was based on theory. And then I had this beautiful awakening. I've always been really driven towards reality-based fighting. And you'll see how I'll tie this in just 1 second, because it's very relevant in my business now. where I was, even at 16, 17, I was studying all these beautiful martial arts, but I'm like, yeah, but, yeah, but this is awesome. I'm winning trophies. Yeah, but what if I really got attacked? Like, yeah, but this is really cool. I love the high kick. It's super cool. But what if someone broke into my house? And I always felt that way. So when I had the opportunity to run a school, I started cross training, meaning like I just wanted to find the best of the best just to improve my skill. Because once I became an instructor full time, I'm telling you, it could be spiritual. There's a strong possibility there. I'm like, wow, I'm responsible for your safety. Like I was like 19, I think, when I took my first full time. And I'm like, wait a minute, these beautiful men, women, and children are entrusting me not to learn a style. They're here to learn how to live and survive a worst case scenario. Am I delivering the best? Am I do I have an allegiance to a style, or do I have more commitment to my student? And that really, and I was a real big fan of Bruce Lee, and he was really known for that, right? So I share that with you because I had the opportunity to learn, which I didn't know existed, this Israeli martial art. And one thing led to another. I was running schools, and I flew down to Florida when I was in New York. After I got married in Hawaii, which is beautiful. We got married in Hawaii, flew back to Long Island. I think we were home for like 2 days, back on a plane to Florida, because my wife was one of my most incredible students. People think I'm tough. I'm like, oh boy, watch her, you know.
All right. Yeah, so she's in the martial arts
Oh my
too.
goodness. Oh my goodness.
Love it.
She's amazing, right?
Yes.
And I share that with you because once I went down and I learned and I got certified in this Israeli art, my mind never like stopped. I was like, this is what I'm talking about. Just no BS, just practical, hard training. I'm like, this is awesome. But the way it was being delivered, I can see wouldn't be very receptive to people, right? Nothing against him. He's one of my dear friends. I love him and what he's doing. But I took my approach of connecting, coaching, teaching, professionalism, if you will, like energetic classes. But what I was teaching was now his Israeli martial art. And I've never seen the results of my clients. So I share that with you because reality has a very unique way of poking holes in our false philosophy. Motivation, positivity doesn't last. Preparation does. So the reason why I share that, and this is where it could be a little contrarian, where as a high performance coach, a lot of times people think all I'm doing is trying to get you more motivated. And that's not true. Or Billy, I'm just trying to be more positive. I'm like, that's great. But even positivity, it's like a wave. I want you to feel positive. I don't want you to feel sad, right? Of course not. However, is that a real good indicator of the future you're building? So one of my heroes is Tony Robbins, right? And every time I'm on stage, I share one quote from him. I mean, I can share 1,000, but I only keep it to one. And I want to share it here because I do my best to share it every time I can because it's so beautiful. Complexity is the enemy of execution. And that's it. We know that we need to execute more. I don't care how many punches you know. It's the punch you'll throw that will save your life. We now in our world, we are not in an information deficit. Right now, although our phones aren't on us because we're filming, but right now we can both take our phone and I can just not have to type anymore. I can just speak and say, I want to learn how to earn an extra $10,000 next month. In a quick second, we're going to get a ton of YouTube videos, a ton of free reports and free influencers and easily. Or I want to lose 30 pounds in 30 days. Same thing. We have so much information at our disposal, but why are more people broke? Why are more people overweight and unhealthy? It's not the lack of education. It's the lack of execution. So what I have done, because I needed this, I'm my first client that I talk to every morning, and I'm the last client I talk to every night, right? Is I've simplified the process of high achievement. It comes down to 3 things.
Okay.
Every result in your life right now, every result, we get on a scale, whatever that number shows. If I open up my banking app, whatever that number is,
Right.
those numbers don't define you. They just define 3 things. The beliefs you hold to be true, the blueprint you've been following, and the behaviors you're committed to every day. The 3 B's: beliefs, blueprint, behaviors. So if we understand Tony Robbins' philosophy of complexity is the enemy of execution, then let's simplify it. Then the opposite must be true, that if we have a simple process that we will consistently follow up with, consistently execute, well, that's the answer. So I've taken the idea of high achievement and I've simplified it to meet where my clients are. And why I've always mentioned, even in this conversation, that I still pull from martial arts, because imagine you've never studied martial arts before, and you walk into my facility and I go, okay, Jesse, this is gonna be awesome. And all I do is show you the fancy and the jump spinning kicks, and I'm breaking 19 boards and fighting 15 guys and all the weapons. Your mind might be impressed, but you're overwhelmed. Because the conversation goes, yeah, but I can't do all that. I can't. So there's a huge disconnect. But if I connect with you on a personal level, I go, listen, today's your first day.
Yeah. All
you're going to do today, brother, watch. You see your hands that you just shook my hand with? I'm going to close them. Here's how you close them. And instead of just having our hands all over the place, hey, man, just put one by your cheek. And this other one, we're going to put it here. And automatically, you're in a fighting stance. And then I'm going to show you step by step, right? This is what we call a block. And the reason why you move your arm this way is to stop someone else's. And I break it down. I meet you where you are, simply. That's how true confidence is built. Not by external validation, not by me giving you a high five and telling you you're awesome. True confidence is giving your mind new evidence. The first time you block, your mind goes, oh, I am a martial artist. This does work. This is awesome. And then we just build and build, right? Same thing with fitness. How many different diets are out there? How many different books? How many different exercise programs?
I don't even think they're sure yet of what is actually good and not good anymore.
It's hard. And what does that do? And this comes to business, right? One of the biggest business things in sales is a confused buyer never buys.
Right.
Right? Clarity really is power. And what I would share when I was operating my fitness facilities was this. I was like, right now we can take a field trip. I could take my entire fitness class, take them to, at that point, is Barnes & Noble, right? Up in New York. And I was like, here's why most people are frustrated. If we go to the nutrition, diet, and exercise section and we go there, what are we going to find? We're going to find all of these books with beautiful covers, with attention-grabbing titles. How to use carbs to burn fat. They're all going to have before and after pictures of testimonials. They're all going to be science-based. They're all going to have some guy in a lab coat giving the thumbs up. Carbs are good, fat's good, CrossFit's better, Bowflex is better, right? And like the consumer is confused because they really have this conversation. I don't know what to believe.
Right.
I don't.
And I honestly, I would say, as the consumer, as the guy, we were taught growing up the food pyramid. We were taught 3 square meals a day, and everything that we were taught as a kid is wrong. Yes, and we were having that conversation today with somebody, and I'm like, yeah, it's wrong,
brutally wrong,
and they don't teach it anymore in school at all. And I even asked the teacher of my kid. We went on a field trip today to watch Beetlejuice Jr. from the high school, and I just don't see how we make sense of all these information overload. How do we know what's right and wrong unless we try one thing and it works for us? And that's about the only thing I can think of. It's like, well, if this is not working, change it.
As simple as you just shared that, I can't even begin to explain how powerful that is.
Oh, wow.
It truly is, because we have delegated thinking, right? Because we have a low self-image, meaning, well, I'm not a doctor. I might as well just not have an opinion. Might as well just let him or her diagnose me and tell me what my next step is. I didn't go to school for nutrition.
Right.
I don't know. And so we put ourselves, I'm not a teacher. I can't help my son. It's like, actually, you really can. Right? We put ourselves in such a low place where our identity shadows our execution, and we just delegate everything else.
Right.
And we know what works. We really do. And the best way is to test.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's really, really valuable and really important. And with the risk of sounding contrarian again, or even dare I say conspiratorial, well, why? Why did the food pyramid ever enter? That's a story for everybody check out on their own, right? Like, how the food pyramid ever
That's a great
get in
question.
And one we don't often ask,
right?
And some of us are a little more courageous, and again, not courageous like we're heroes. It's like, why don't we ask those questions? And it's okay to ask these questions. And you might get an answer you like, and you might get an answer you don't. But most of us go into the cycle of life that we're consistently finding research to validate our current perspective. And that's it. But that's not how growth happens. They'll just keep you on what I call the Ferris wheel of frustration. Right? You'll just keep on keeping on. And you keep having the delusion that we're making progress, because there's some highs in a Ferris wheel, there's some lows, but you're in motion, and you wake up one day and you go, man, I went nowhere. That's the danger of the Ferris wheel.
I am picturing my own life right now and the Ferris wheel that I've possibly put myself in. I don't think anybody who's ever met me thought I was simple or, not going in a progress state or doing something different on a regular basis because I'm in so much and always trying something new.
Yeah.
But we can, like insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. I think that's what the Ferris wheel is the insanity.
It's the insanity wheel. Right. And what's challenging is and I speak about this pretty often, we almost become dependent on new information.
Yeah.
Because that's where we think our answer lies. Right? Most high achievers have a huge library, and I love that. But if they would have executed on the books, take 90% of their library away, give me the top 10 and just execute on those top 10, you're living a whole different life. We feel devoid of information. So our fix, if you will, is YouTube. And I'm a huge YouTube fan, right? Of course, get the information, learn. But it's what, if I may, I'm going to speak about this quickly. It's what I call the 90-10 rule, right? The 90-10 rule states dedicate 10% of your time, energy, and resources into acquiring new, useful information. Like, of course, read the book, watch the YouTube videos, go to the seminar. But, this is a big but, real big but. Flip the script. Commit 90% of your time, energy, and resources into the execution. So 10% education, 90% execution, your life will never look the same.
Yeah.
Most people were reversed. We're consistently consuming. We're consuming information in many different ways. Some people call it doom scrolling. But even if you're...
I love my doom scroll.
It's a way to check out, right?
Yeah.
But what's really powerful is I think I just shared this, right? I was part of a big business summit last week. I was on stage.
Yeah.
Beautiful high achievers. And these guys are the high achievers, right? They're all the real estate investors. They're making millions. They're awesome. And I'm there to hold the mirror for them, right? I'm like, listen, brother and sister, I love you. Like, full love. Your challenge is not time management. Your challenge is not you need more information. You're just not executing at the level that you really need to. And that's really where the answer lies. So when we're committed to doing more, I'm telling you, your life changes. But there's a reason why we don't. And it has nothing to do with information. It's not that ebook that's going to change your life. It's not that one book. You might get a nugget out of it. When you consistently show up in a simple, proven blueprint, day in and day out, that your mind accepts, your change, your results speak for themselves.
Are you talking about your avatar?
A little bit about the avatar.
So tell me about what an avatar is, because I think that's basically you have this high achievement business, but I would say, what is the person that comes to you? What are they looking for? Who is that person? What is an avatar?
Right. I appreciate that. So an avatar is I'll say the word fictitious, right? But it's truly a created identity of a person that you're called to serve, you're qualified to serve, that are experiencing high value problems that you are qualified to solve. That's your avatar. To go deeper, it's not just a demographic, but it's also a psychographic. What are their pain points? What language do they use to describe their pain points? This is where most business owners really lose it. They only think surface level. Let me give a real example that your audience can really sink their teeth into.
Okay.
Fitness.
Yes.
Right? Fitness is pretty easy. We all know kind of what that looks like. When I was running fitness facilities, I would always teach my coaches, don't use what I called trainer talk. Let me explain. So if a overweight man, let's say 40, 50 pounds, comes into one of my locations and he goes, hey man, I'm just looking to bulk up, but also, get rid of my belly fat. And they all do that. I swear to God, every man's like, they pat the belly, they rub it, and they point to their bicep. And if we say that, but my trainer, because he's so certified and so awesome, he goes, Jesse, good news. I have a hypertrophy program designed for you. You didn't use the word hypertrophy. You might not even know what the heck that means. It means growth in the muscles, right? But there's a language disconnect there. right? So understanding my avatar, I'm like, oh, it's frustrating for you. But then if I understand the language you use, I'm like, let me explain, Jesse. Why 40 pounds? What would that do for you? I'm understanding you. And you go, well, actually, it's not just the scale that matters most. Every time I go to the pool with my son, I take my shirt off. I feel like I'm disappointing. Got it. Right? Now I understand the pain point. That's what will help you. You think you're buying dumbbells and jumping jacks. No, man. We're solving an emotional pain. We're solving a challenge that's much deeper than just what the numbers on a scale say. It's what that scale represents, what that body change will do for you. And transfer that to business, it's the same thing. Billy, I want to make an extra $30,000 next month. Awesome. Why? What is it costing you now to not operate at that level? Right? What family experiences are you saying no to right now because you don't have the extra 30K? What you're telling your son that you love very much, no, you can't take extra martial arts lessons because, dad doesn't have the money right now. Cool. Would that allow you to say yes more to your family? Yes. So it's not spreadsheet success. So what I was saying before, professional life and personal, they're integrated. When we master professionalism, we master our career, we master the income game, it's pretty amazing because what that does is allows our freedom in our personal life to say yes to the things we really want to say yes to. So not having an idea of your avatar or your perfect future client really is where a lot of people they miss it. They're passionate, they're driven, they want to help the world, but their message gets lost because they're trying to speak to everyone. When you dial in who really needs your work, your messaging can speak to them. And so they turn around and go, man, I feel like you're talking to me. Right? And that's how you know that your content, if you will, or your sales, or your messaging is working. Right? It's like, man, I feel like you were talking to me. Did you write that for me, Billy? It's like, yeah, actually I did. Cause I know you kind of better than you know yourself because I am you, right? And that I'm just maybe a little further along on the journey, but I'm still that crazy ambitious guy. Yeah. And, and I need this material just as much as anybody else.
Amen. Well, now I ask everybody
please.
On every show, do you have a political affiliation and a thing that maybe you're passionate about in politics or in the world today? I already heard some of it. Right. So we didn't have to ask. You already gave us some, like vaccination is our choice. Tyranny is not okay. No. We do live in a democratic republic. It's different than what some think that the majority rules, but that's not necessarily it. And thank God for that, because if the majority ruled, it would rule us into a ditch a lot of times. So what are you passionate about? Do you talk about politics in a regular sense or?
Yeah. I love the question. Yeah. I think, it's funny because so many people have the mindset politics is one thing you don't talk about. And what I will share is that's why we are where we are.
Yep.
If we had more unbiased conversations, right? Conversations meaning I'm not here to prove you wrong and prove myself right. If you're here in a true nature of a conversation, like what can I learn? What can I offer you? And not judge you for any view you might have, because that's your experience. That is the stance I take. I love talking about really anything, but anything where it comes down to political, religious, school systems, things that I just love where paradigms are challenged, not because I'm an anarchist. I love challenging the status quo because that's how you refine the steel. We test it, right? And our political views, the way I view it, and of course everybody is entitled to their own opinion, I believe the left side and the right side, or the left wing and the right wing, man, they're part of the same bird, right? That's my.
Well, we're supposed to be a part of America,
right? Supposed to. That's a great word. Supposed to. And I think because we're always looking for self-preservation, and unfortunately, we look through a lens of, I feel more correct the more I demonize your beliefs. And I really do my best. I'm not saying I'm perfect. Actually, let me say on record, I'm not perfect, right? Not even close. But I look for what's not right or wrong, good or bad. Is it serving the future or hindering it? And the challenge that I have found with identity is once you identify as something, your mind literally shuts off any possibility of learning. That comes from possibilities. Political affiliation. Like, and we could all do a test. If I say I'm a Republican, and then you come on this conversation we just met and you go, I'm a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you say next, I've already put you in a box.
Yeah,
my mind is looking for evidence right now through your words and the language to poke holes in what you're saying. And the crazy part is I'll find challenges with your story. I'll find challenges with your stance on things. However, you can almost say the same exact thing. But if you were to introduce yourself, hey, I'm also Republican, I'd be like, oh, dude, I'm going to look for how we're the same. I'm like, yeah, you're right, because this is why this is right and why everybody else is wrong. And my mind is tricked into thinking that we're the same just because I didn't identify a certain way.
Interesting.
So my philosophy really is super, super simple. I know who controls my life. I have voted for the same person every single year. I vote for him every single day he wakes up. And it's this guy. It's the guy that I understand who has the ultimate control over the life I lead. Now, I'm not saying don't vote. I'm not saying that. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. I'm saying take back power for yourself. Too many people delegate their power and they say, well, I'll vote for X, Y, and Z, and then my problems will be solved. Then the economy will be fixed. Brothers and sisters, focus on your personal economy. What value can you add to the marketplace today? Right? The healthcare system, you don't like it? Cool. What are you putting in your body today? The healthcare system does not make you go to a gas station and eat Twinkies and have Starbucks or Frappuccinos. That's not a healthcare system challenge.
I will say that there's too many items on that shelf, though, that are not good.
Oh, of course.
I almost feel like there's none good. That's the biggest issue.
I love, and this is where, when you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not like, no, I'm just going to hug trees and hope. Like, no. Political systems are huge.
Yeah.
This is why I'm very focused on it, right?
Yeah.
I'm a very big RFK fan, right? Because, again, is everything he says perfect? No. However, what most people are unaware of, right?
Yeah.
They're unconsciously ignorant. They don't know that the ingredients, because they have a false sense of trust, because their mindset, we touched on this maybe 20 minutes ago. It's like, well, I mean, they're not going to put ingredients in my kid's food.
We thought.
If it's bad, pause, recycle that. Yes, they will. Right? Like, come on, vaccines have to be safe and effective. My doctor wouldn't give it to me. Pause. Yes, they will. Right? And even unknowingly. Right? And that's something that's really challenging. So my invitation to everyone is reclaim your power.
Right.
Become the vessel. Become the filter for what food goes in your mouth, for what you're watching on TV. Like, understand that power you have. You are the ultimate filter. I want people to realize that they have so much power that they're just willing to give away, and they voluntarily just give it away. And that's a real challenge. The food pyramid is psychotic. Psychotic. A lot of stuff that's being taught, but we don't question it. And if you don't question it, you'll just go on that Ferris wheel of
and being a high achiever,
sure.
I'm told by many people, Jesse, not everybody's like you.
Right.
And that's a hard thing to swallow, because you as a high achiever just want everybody else to achieve like you do, or do greater than you, in my opinion. Like, no, I have limitations, and I know my limitations, and I see such great value in you. Like my wife, like you spoke so well of your wife. My wife is cutting the show right now. She is my queen and an amazing achiever. She thinks negatively of her, and I would tell her, everybody thinks you're so much better than I am. You're smart. Everything you think you're not, you have those qualities. And she has a quality that I don't have, is that makes her, in my opinion, better, is she has great emotional and personal smartness. I forget the intelligence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The emotional intelligence scale. And so I've read books and listened to podcasts, and I still don't get it, as much as she just, it becomes natural to her. Yeah. So we make each other better because we complement one another when we're functioning well and not at odds against each other. Right. I think society could do the same if we were trying to find a parallel. I think, unfortunately, I am in the polarizing category of people who's saying, no, there is a straight evil coming at us. And that for me, it's hard. It's hard because I hear your bridge making, and I love it, because I think we do need to make bridges. Yeah. But at the other end of the scale, we have had nobody to stand up. We're all in the dark, and nobody's telling us the truth. And somebody's got to stand up against the evil of the world and say, hey, look, those dyes, they really are bad for you. They're literally not in any other country. Why? Because they banned them because they're unhealthy for us. And then when we try to ban them because we're a political affiliation, you're going to go against it. But 20 years ago, you would have been like the guy on the trying to picket to get it changed because you said it was wrong. And now because the other side isn't, you're just going against it. It doesn't make sense to me.
1,000,000%. And this is where I love that we're talking about this, because this is where I need to implore for people to become their own sovereign human spirit, right? And find and connect biblically, God, like whatever is your northern light, connect to that every single day, because you are going to face opposition, because the machine is very strong. It is, when I use the word courage, it's not courage because I went into a burning house and saved the kitten. The courage is, I'm going to be demonized for this. That's courage, because we've been taught to conform. We've been taught, sit down, know your place, do not question authority, ever. So that's ingrained in us. So now, even when our spirit doesn't feel right, we go, I don't know about this. I just don't know. This doesn't feel good. We're taught and we've conditioned ourselves. You silence that. Our own little narrative, our little devil on our shoulder goes, what do you know? You're not a doctor. You don't know what's best for your child. The teacher, and all these things. And so we shrink and we conform. That's a challenge. It takes courage saying, I might lose friends. It takes courage saying, I might be challenged. It takes courage to say, no matter what, I'm willing to lose my job. I'm willing to do, no matter what. Are you going to stand on that ground? That's where courage is. Not hoping that you don't face opposition, knowing that you will. Make sense?
Yeah, because in today's society, it's easy to say, like you said, two things we don't talk about, politics and religion. In this show, we talk about it all. Yeah. So when you said, hey, I took my kids and moved out of the state because they were going to force them, that to me was courage. And anybody who disagrees with you, I believe they will still see it as courage.
100%.
And my, not to out anybody, because I don't want to talk about exactly who they were, but there are people who will go out and they'll stand at it and protest. I give them more respect than the person on Facebook being a Karen just about everything, because at least they're going out and trying to create an awareness of what they truly believe. And so they're being action oriented rather than negative oriented. Now, granted, some of those things I think are negative, but I give them more respect and value for standing on courage and being willing, even if they're, in my opinion, completely wrong, than somebody who's just going to complain all the time.
I couldn't have said that any better. It's when you live, it's a philosophy called aligned action. That's really where authenticity comes from. That's your highest power. Right? When you live every single day with aligned action, meaning are you really showing up with who you think you are? Right? And I share this very humbly, and I share this with a really beautiful open heart. We don't live that way in the majority. There's a lot of people that think one thing, they preach one thing, but their actions don't reflect that, right? How many Christians are not acting like Christ? But they can recite a lot of Bible verses, can't they? Right? Or in the personal development world, how many people, trust me, because that's my world, they'd be like, yeah, well, Tony Robbins says this and Les Brown says this. I'm like, cool story, bro. Love the fact that you're quoting these incredible thought leaders, but does your daily schedule reflect that? Right? You call your wife your queen on social media, but you're ignoring her at night. Right? You preach being a role model and good man for your kids. What example are you showing them? Not what you're telling them, not what you're telling the world to validate where you are. Take an honest look. That mirror.
Oh, yeah.
That mirror, and I share this all the time, the best personal development tool in the world. It's not an app. It's not a book. It's not a coaching lesson with me. It's the mirror. When you look in that mirror with honesty, when you look in that mirror and you go, am I really living my truth? Is my day in alignment with what I truly believe?
Yeah.
Do I really believe it, or is it just like a convenience? Right? When you truly have conviction in something, you can tell. people move mountains, right? You have a beautiful faith. And I said this on stage 2 months ago. Jesus, when he was, and I wasn't there, but I'm speculating. I'm sure there was no insecurity. I'm sure there wasn't a time when he's like, hey guys, do you think I should say it like this? But what if they, oh man, what if they don't really think I'm confident? What if they don't really, there was no what if, right? It was like, I read and I'm like, that's a man that was convicted. No matter what. When you can be Christ-like, right, which I'm trying to do my best to emulate, right? It's like, I was never, like, he wasn't ever insecure, right? I'm like, what, Jesse, what if people don't like what I'm wearing? You know, what if this, like, no, I have a message, right? Like, I'm going to speak. Give me a microphone. I'm going. That with no challenge of being judged, no fear of being judged. I know people, whoever's going to listen to this, they're already going to place their mind up about maybe who I am.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, oh, this guy's cool, but he's got tattoos.
Yeah.
You know, tattoos mean fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't vaccinate his kids. So that must mean he's X, Y, and Z. And they're already trying to put me in a box. Right.
And we're all in boxes.
We're all in boxes. And my invitation is, I love you anyway.
Yeah.
Put me in any box you want. But it's more of a reflection of you than at all a reflection of how I see myself. And I find that I am not special. I'm not. I'm just tapped in.
Yeah.
And what I've tapped into, every single person in the entire world can also. And I'm still a baby, and I'm still learning, and I'm certainly flawed, and I still fall on my face. Thank God I have my program to fall back on and other thought leaders and my mentors, right?
Right.
And I'm like, man, I'm losing it. They're like, Billy, come on, man, stay the path. I'm like, oh, you're right, you know? So I share that with you because that's my biggest mission.
Yeah.
Is not to tell you about Billy Reuter. It's to show you who you are again.
Yeah.
So when you look in that mirror, you see a person of value, worth, and unlimited potential. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what your grades were in school. Doesn't matter, right? Anything. No matter what decisions you made in the past, tomorrow, as cliche as this sounds, tomorrow really is a brand new day.
Right.
And you are the owner of the decisions you make. And your decisions determine your destiny. It's something, I wanted it where it was a consistent reminder of why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Even money for me, I don't call it money. I call it freedom fuel. That's it. I'm not money driven.
Yeah.
I charge, right? I have a big business. It's beautiful, but it is freedom fuel.
Yeah.
The income that comes in, it just fuels my mission even more. That's all it does.
And I love that you talked about your faith. I think that one of the things that we need more of today is Christ-centric reality of he was giving. You know, you said he was confident. I would say he was perfect. So if he was perfect, I wish I was perfect, and I am never going to attain. And so there's so much imperfection in my life that, as a high achiever, as somebody who looks in the mirror often and who also sees the example of Christ compared to what I live, I can get down on myself quite a bit for not achieving when I can see what's failing, or when I can see the goal is, or the achievement, and I'm just not obtaining. And so, like, without really flushing that out further, I know I need people.
Yeah.
Because people are the fuel that help you to reflect and process and get through difficult situations. Yes, we can go to God in private, and he does amazing things. And only he can sometimes do the healing and the things we need. But God also created community intentionally. He said it's not good for man to be alone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's why we have a wife. That's why we have friends. Yeah. That's why God made humans to be friends. I mean, is there anything, and that was my own confession, but Please, is there anything that you would encourage, since you were open about your faith, if there was one thing that you had to tell about Jesus, what would you tell somebody in a brief sense of how do they get to know him? Who is he?
No, I appreciate that. And yeah, so to speak about my faith for just a moment, it's ever evolving, right? And I'm always looking to be truthful and authentic. I've struggled with my faith for a very, very long time. Still do, right? So I don't want anybody to think that it wasn't like a light switch, like on and off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was very conflicted as a young teenager. I'm still am, right? I want to really clarify this so there's no misunderstanding. The last like 9 months of my life, I have opened my eyes and my heart to more of the teachings that Christ taught, more than I ever have. I never classified myself as a Christian. I still don't label myself as anything, right? But there was I look for patterns. I think because I'm a high performance coach, I look for behavior patterns.
And he is the best pattern.
And I'm telling you,
whether you're Christian or not Christian, I think that was proven throughout generations, and political leaders used the Bible because they saw that.
And I really appreciate that. And, my mother, because she'll watch this, she'll get a kick out of it. And she's probably going to watch this and go, I told you so. Right? But we would have many.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We would have many discussions. And in the beginning they weren't great discussions. When I was a teenager, we battled heads a lot about religion, a lot. And I have no problem discussing what that looked like. I'll make it 30 seconds, right? When I was 15, 16, she became a born again, which is beautiful. The church she happened to choose just wasn't great. And we were in very impoverished times. It was very not easy to put a lot of food on the table, right? And it was one of those churches, which again, no disrespect to this has nothing to do with faith. It was the man, with a $5,000 cross, begging for your money, even if it's your last $10. If you want to be saved, for Christ to love you, you got to give. And me and my brothers are kind of hungry, and I'm watching. And my mom, bless her soul, and she would give. And well, it says tithe, and the pastor's asking. I'm like, something within me was like, this doesn't feel right. And I was a decently educated person at that point. And I'm like, I don't know, A plus B is not equal to C for me. Like there's a disconnect for me.
Yeah.
And the mistake I made, because I was immature, I was 15, was I allowed one man to represent an entire faith.
Right.
I allowed the actions of a human to discourage my relationships with the supernatural. So at that point, I started really through martial arts discovering Eastern philosophy, right? And Buddhism and Taoism. I read all the books, right? And I was like, oh, that makes more sense. I'm like, that just filled. But fast forward, it's pretty wild how the last like 2 years, a lot of the great men in my life, they all have a few things in common. And so much so, I couldn't ignore it anymore. They're all sober. They're all Bible believing Christians. They all are faith centric. And as much as they were all monsters in business, they're like, yeah, but they still cherish their family. I'm like, you guys are my people. And we're all in the gym together, right? We're all working out. I'm like, and it's what I call, to talk about my business, and this is not a plug, but the identity upgrade that I help my clients achieve is called power producer. Because you can be a high achiever and not be a power producer. You could be a high achiever in your business, make millions of dollars, but suffer in your identity, suffer in your marriage, suffer in your health, suffer as a parent. So you're a high achiever in one aspect, right? Or vice versa. You could be completely ripped, in great shape, high achiever in your fitness, but you can't rub two nickels together to buy a meal. The identity of a power producer is that ideal integration. It's understanding the branch of the tree. That like my value as a human, as a man, is the way I serve my queen. It's the way I serve my clients, the way I show up for my kids. It's the way I show up for myself. And having the aspiration to consistently grow, knowing that I am flawed. So I share that with you because a lot of the people that are coming to my world, I'm like, man, they're like power producers. This is something I've been teaching for 12 years now, helping people become this. And I'm like, they're there. What's beautiful, to speak to your point one more time, is they have supported, and they don't push Christianity on me, right? But they're like, why don't you read this book? Why don't you read it? I'm like, this is really beautiful. And to go back to my mom quickly, every time, once we got over our challenge with it and we really rekindled a beautiful relationship, we would talk just openly about spirituality and biblical. She's like, I heard you on stage. That's what Jesus said. And I'm like, okay, I appreciate that. I'm like, and I've never read the Bible, right? And then like 5 months later, I'll say something. She goes, what you just said? It's in the Bible. I'm like, okay. And then my friends who are also on this beautiful coaching council, they're all, like I said, Christians. And they're like, Billy, man, That's in the Bible. So I'm reading a book now. It's called, I'm halfway through. It's doing, oh goodness, I want to give it the correct, Doing Business by the Good Book. And it's a really cool book. And my other friend's reading Doing Leadership by the Good Book. And they're both by the same author.
Awesome.
Basically taking business principles, right? But effective, time-proven business principles for entrepreneurs, but linking them to biblical scripture or biblical examples. And I'm like, oh, you son of a guns. They were right. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't want to classify myself. I am just beautifully in love with this process.
Awesome.
I'm really learning more about Christ in the last 9 months, and my mind is consistently blown.
I love that we're having this conversation and we're diving deep. One of those got saved, got into a church that wasn't the best. We came out of a church that took submission to a realization of absolute, so much so that they even said that they were the head of my wife. Yes, this literally happened.
See, I just got tense right
now. And we had to leave at that point. Now God had brought us there, and we had spent time, and I had plenty to learn. I still do. I mean, that was years ago, and I'm still healing and trying to figure out my path and what God has called me to. But what I will say is, through this process, I learned what submission was. And it wasn't until after I left that church that I understood submission, because I didn't have a father growing up. My mom was a kind of a rebel of our family. And so I didn't really have what was the biblical definition of submission anyways in my life, or represented. And so learning how to submit to authority in my life, not having a dad, was one of the most difficult things I've ever experienced. And there is not a good way to learn submission, I feel like, other than a good example. Yes, having good examples of what submission looks like. And submission doesn't always mean agreement, but when you have a biblical submission to authority, that is not absolute submission, meaning what you say is gospel. What do you say is the truth? That's always it. So in a biblically submitted person, there's a verse in Acts talks about the Bereans were more noble than the Thessalonians because they would search the scriptures daily to know it was of God.
Okay.
So they would question the authority of who was speaking based on what God had already said, basically. Mm-hmm. Right? And so that's the biblical submission. Like, you're going to submit to me as my leader some good information. I'm going to go back and I'm going to process that information, and I'm going to make sure that what you're saying is accurate. And you know what? If not everything lines up, but most of it does, and I don't really quite understand something, and I don't have a fully, I may submit to those things in fear that if I don't, I'm going to step outside of a line that I don't understand yet. So that keeps me in safety, right? But if I go back and I pray about it, or, read and study, and I'm like, this ain't right, and I question you, that is not an act of unsubmissiveness. I don't know the word that, not submitting. It is an act of submission to come back to that authority and that leader and say, look, you said this, what is going on? And my question is for you to then process the answer, right, and say, hey, let me give you more information. Let me give you more details. And that is the biblical definition of true submission. Now, when it comes to wife and husband, it becomes a little different, but I do believe in the same regard. I ask my wife in a submitted way, hey, honey, what do you think about this? But at the end of the day, is my job to listen to her? No, not in a sense of like, we got to do this, but my job as a man is to process what she says and value it, but then, for myself, have to make a decision as the man. And so when the Bible says to submit to a wife to a husband, mm-hmm, it falls on me for the decision. But if I am a dictator, not a person who is in a community, in a relationship with this woman who is given there not just for to do what I say, right, but as a tool in my toolbox to say, what are you seeing I'm not? Where is my reflection? So we submit one to another.
Love that.
You see what I'm saying? And so my experience with churches have been every
Every direction.
everything under the sun. We've gone to tons of different types, different styles. We've helped launch churches. We've been a part of things. We've seen good leadership. We've seen bad leadership. We've seen cults and not cults.
Yep.
We've been out and done street ministry and evangelism, and we've done huge, big gospel crusade type things. And one thing I can say, and if I can share with you my faith,
Please, anything.
yeah,
Always.
the only thing it comes back to, and it always comes back to this: faith alone in Jesus Christ. The difference between a Christian and a non-Christian, you talked about those who didn't have a good example of Christ. Romans 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's literally the gospel in short. It is literally the life of Christ, why he died, why he rose, how we ended up in sin, and we needed a redemption. And Christ came to forgive our sin because he died on the cross. We could now be reconciled with him. And he says that we were dead in sin in Romans 6. And so once we were dead in sin, we must die. And that's where the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus came in to show us power over death. But then in baptism, now we can die with Christ. We go to the grave, and the old man that was sinful and everything else, it's a physical representation of a spiritual death of the old man to the new man. And when we ascend to heaven, he said, it's better that I go, that the Comforter comes to you, the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit wants to live in us. So we, with sin, God cannot glory in we cannot be in his presence with sin, but because Jesus' blood covers our sin, he now can come and reside in us. We are the temple of God, not a building, not a place, but that. And because of that, we now, through acceptance of his offering, through faith alone, can have life. And he leads and guides us in all truth by the Holy Spirit. And we must ask, God, forgive me. God, wash me clean. And God, give me the Holy Spirit. Help me walk in newness of life. And so the difference between a non-Christian and a Christian is not that we got it perfect, because none of us do, but that we are saying, I need the forgiveness, and I want, and that's the big one. I want to walk in the right path. We were talking about this with a friend of mine. When is repentance actually happen? Is it when you've turned away from and stopped doing it? Or is it when you've decided to turn away from? And I believe the true repentance is the decision. The moment you decided, your heart changes. Your actions may not quite follow yet. So sometimes we got to go through a process of sanctification to get to that place where we can be obedient because we're struggling when the war is on. And I'm sure you've seen these high performance people in large scale where they're like, I have an issue in my life and I can't fix it.
Yeah.
But they know it's there.
Oh yeah.
They know how to fix it even.
100%.
But they still yet haven't. And so I think we trap ourselves in self-condemnation sometimes.
We do.
Even as Christians that know that there's no that's Romans 8, where there's no condemnation for those who are in Christ. And so we have this need to truly be accepted.
Right.
And most of us, because of the world's standpoint, think that that's because we've done something.
That's right.
And the beauty of Christ is it's not because we do anything. It's because he did something.
And that's I love that you shared that. So thank you for that very, very much. And I think that's where a lot of the conflict comes in. And you don't need to classify yourself as a high achiever for this.
Yeah.
Right? We all humans, we are pulled.
Yeah.
We're pulled because we get celebrated from performance, even from a child.
Yeah, true.
Right?
Hit a baseball over the
hit
fence.
A baseball, or even look at the tonality of a parent. Great job, you cleaned your room. It's like, wait a minute, I did this thing. I get more affection and love, and I'm not saying this is wrong.
Wow.
So we're constantly looking like, if I do this thing, I get this feeling of acceptance of love. Right. Same thing. If I would have met my wife day one, I'd be like, hey, how you doing? Let's go. Boom. I slap slap the door in and I don't pay for her. She most likely wouldn't be my wife, right? Although there's butterflies and fireworks going, literally almost metaphorically. It was, well, we did this. We get to show up, so we get shown affection.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the biggest struggle is, and I'm going to use your words because they're so great. It's surrendering. It's that idea of like, wait, I don't have to do this thing. I don't have to be this person in order to be in God's grace or fully accepted and loved, right? And that also, I think there's a conflict there, which most people do, because we live in a world where performance matters. It really does. Maybe not in the eyes of God in regards to his love for you.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to build a business, you have to perform. That's spreadsheet. We know that. But what about, I want to build an amazing relationship with my children. You don't think that's performance-based?
Yeah.
Of course. You show
trackable results.
Of course. You show up every day and you're distracted. You show up every day, you're stressed out. Does that impact the conversations you have? 1,000,000%. You're burnt out from work. You're burnt out because of stress. You don't know how to navigate through life's challenges. Are you showing up as the best husband you can be? No. Am I giving my queen the king she deserves? No. She's getting a 70%. And because our love is beautiful, we learn to tolerate. And the biggest thing that you're seeing this in humanity now is, instead of raising standards and aligning our behaviors to meet those standards, we lower our standards, learn to tolerate more. We tolerate unhealthy relationships. We tolerate disconnection. We tolerate fill in the blank here. And then that becomes our new default. And we keep lowering the bar. And every time you lower the bar, you know what the problem is? You'll hit it. And you'll hit it again. And then we'll lower it again and we'll hit it again, just to give ourselves the feeling of validation. So I think that the concept, and again, working with high achievers, it is not just, hey man, we're going to make an extra 50K next month. It is, do you feel in love with yourself in a way where you know you're worthy of this? And no matter what, I won't use names, of course, ever, but like one of my amazing students, we just soon discovered that his drive is not his incessant drive of more and more and more. He does very, very well. He's like, we unpacked it. And it was like our 5th session. He's like, oh my goodness, I'm still trying to get my father's approval. I'll never get it, but I'm still going for it. And in a way, like and then if that's your operating system, you'll never stop. You'll always keep, because there's always more and always more. So it's that beautiful balance. It's not black, white, right, wrong, good or bad. It is, how do I navigate through life consistently growing, expanding, serving more, knowing that I'm enough just the way I am. And being enough is just an awareness that I have some leaks, I have some faults, but the willingness, and I think your language is wonderful. I want to improve, right? Like there's a part of me, like I want to get healthier.
Right.
It's a drive. I look at my beautiful queen. I go, I want to be a better husband. Not like I have to because Jesse told me to, or it's in his book. Like, no, it's a driver. It's like, I want to do better. Yeah. I want my kids, like, so proud of you. Great job. Like, that's a desire, and not for ego. It's like, it's amazing. And I think that's where a lot of people do struggle. You know, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. I don't think anybody achieves everything they ever want to.
No.
And we have to at some point accept who we are.
Yeah.
And do what we can, and then keep doing it.
And keep doing it consistently. You know, again, it's again, not pitching myself here, right? But it's beliefs, blueprint, behaviors.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, to speak to that quickly, we all have that already. No matter what camp you belong to, if you're a high achiever or not, whatever you label, right now, if we all open up our bank account, the beliefs I hold to be true about money, the blueprint I've been following, and the behaviors I do every day, that's what shows up in that bank account. If I look at my scale on my body weight, okay, it doesn't define me. It doesn't define who I can be. But what that number does define is the beliefs I believe to be true about my body, the blueprint I've been following, and the behaviors I do every day. So if I can sprinkle a little of high performance on here, what I share with my students is, well, you already have beliefs, but I believe inside of you, I already know this, you have beliefs that are dormant right now. So our level is activated beliefs. Are you operating from conformity beliefs or activated? See, activated beliefs means, Jesse, no matter where you were, where you're going, that's up to you. You really can alter the way you see the world. You really can redefine your story. You really can look at your past and say, that's not who I am, that's who I was.
Mm-hmm.
You can rewrite the story. You can live a self-authorized life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where your beliefs come from. That's activated. And you show up with this new activated life. It's like, whoa, okay, cool. But we still need what I call an ascending blueprint. See, the Ferris wheel of frustration goes on and on. Doesn't move anywhere. But if you take your blueprint, I work in 90 days. What if we ascend it? What if today we get super crystal clear about the outcome you want to achieve in 90 days? And that's your blueprint. And we make it so simple. If you remember my martial arts story, where I'm not going to teach you the jumping flippy kicks on your day one, I meet you where you are. And if every day I create a process for you to improve every single day, right? So this is why 90 days works well. We conquer our quarter, but we also maximize our month, break it down, we win our week, and we dominate our day. So now the idea that I'm not going to hit my goal, I'm not going to become the person I want, well, it's impossible. It's the GPS to the future you can't stop thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that's important. And the third part is aligned behaviors. What does aligned mean? It means who you really aspire to be. Are your daily actions, your daily behaviors, are they in alignment with the goals you say you want? Are they in alignment with the business you're looking to build? Are they in alignment with the husband you're trying to be? Are they in alignment with Christ? Are they?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like all of these things, that's where the key is. So the difference between a burnt out person that keeps striving, we all have beliefs, blueprint, and behaviors, but if we tweak it and we are humble enough to say, I need help. There's some leaks in my life right now. So we learn how to activate our belief system and we create an ascending blueprint where 90 days, I'm not going to be where I am today. And every single day, my commitment, my declaration to myself and my future self, my family, my loved ones is I'm going to live in alignment. My behaviors will be aligned with the power producer, with the high performer, with Christ, whatever your North Star is. That's how you show up every single day. The results will take care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of makes sense?
I love it. I love it. And we're going to end it there, my friend. This has been a great conversation.
Oh, so great.
Oh, man. If you've enjoyed Billy Reuter.
Reuter.
Yeah.
Reuter.
Whoa, I knew I was going to do it once. All right. Then you give this a like. You give him some comments, ask some questions. We get him back on. We'll have some more things to talk about. I hope that you've been engaged. I hope you've been challenged. I hope you've been inspired to live a better life, because I feel like that is my goal every day, and I have heard it from him, and I feel like he has inspired me, even in this short session, to continue to achieve the dream, because it's inside of us, as he was saying. So you know what you need to do. It's time that you start getting maybe somebody to help you, to encourage you along the way and let you redirect some of that. And if not, and you've got this under control, we commend you for being bold. This is Ignite Mike. Come back, share this with somebody that needs to hear it. And of course, as always, subscribe if you haven't to the channel. God bless.